This is The Real Chat, where we discuss the real.
From relationships to love.
To all around companionship.
I'm LL.
And I am Sunny.
Let's get to chatting. When you have that someone, they have made that special place with you. You have a commitment. Even like I said, if it's not marriage, you're not engaged, whatever. But you've been faithful, committed, together, loving, sharing life. Yes. For us, it was 3 years. We had already been together. And you all been together now?
2 years.
2 years. And again, you guys already talking about marriage.
Yes.
We weren't yet. So, but like I said, when her being there, we knew to say, okay, they're the weekends. Now, when I first got back, I got really busy in what I do, right? And so I couldn't be there, I think, for like a month. I couldn't go. And there was no need her coming here because I was, just all over the place getting preparing for this big event that we had to do, blah, blah, blah. So that first month, we're just on the phone. But it's on the phone every day.
Right.
And she already knew that we wouldn't be able to get together that first month because of really my commitments. So I said, but hey, the event is, next month when I get back in town, boom, I'm there.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. As soon as I got back in town, as a matter of fact, we pulled up in the passenger van that we were in. I jumped out instead of going in because we got back about 6, 7 p.m. Instead of jumping out and say, you know what, I'm gonna get some rest. I'll hit up in the morning. No, I couldn't wait. I got all my stuff. I already packed. So I was like, I just throw my bag in the car and I hit the road. And got there safely, fortunately, because I was exhausted. But I got there. God got me there, and all is history. But over that year and a half, 2 years, we were talking. We were planning. We were, either I was going to go there, or, she was considering coming back to where we're from. Just because I think things were good there, but she realized, she said it, I think sometime in, and I was there for a couple days, and she said, you know what? She said, everything is really good here, but I'm not completely happy because you're not here. And so, of course, I'm thinking, okay, I got to get it together. I got to head, I have to come this way. So we got to get the apartment. We got to get blah, blah, get living situations straight like you all have already done. But during that time, the more that she wasn't with me on a daily basis, we're on the phone every day, for hours, at times, 2 and 3 times a day. I'm there on weekends. She's coming home on the weekends, and we're spending that time, but it wasn't daily like we could be before.
Right.
If I wanted to go over on a Monday, she wanted to come over on a Tuesday, whatever. Or we just want to hook up and go somewhere on Wednesday. We couldn't do that.
Right. So, and that's the thing. And that's the thing about it is, as far as me making sure I answer the phone or he answers the phone, because it's really detrimental because the time slot is kind of small. One of us gonna be tired. One of us is gonna be tired. But the cool thing about it is she wanted to explore a new city. I'm so excited to explore Houston. Because I have family there, but then it's also a new environment for me. So I'll be occupied with that in itself, making new friends, finding new hobbies within the city. So I'll be that 3 years gonna fly by with me doing things like that, having fun, living my life because I am still young, and things like that, and just enjoying myself and calling him and telling him how excited and the things that I've done and all those things and bringing his spirit up because he's not gonna be having any of the fun part. I'll be able to have some fun and things like that. So I'm gonna be calling him, bringing his spirit up and going off and telling him everything.
So do you think, again, with that distance and with, like you said, the commitment that you all have and knowing that you're going to make these plans and say, okay, here's a schedule, decide when we're going to be to talk to each other, you get all that together. But can you see from all of the things that you plan to be doing as far as career and getting things prepared for the two of you and him the same thing?
Yes.
Do you think that's really a vital element that's going to keep you focused?
Yes, keeping focused. Exactly. Making sure that we still have those goals and those goals are set and those goals are being constantly worked on. As far as us, because I'm essentially going there to start our life and to get us to a different. So when he comes back, he has something to return to because when he is visiting, it'll be lovely if he come back to our home, that we purchased and things like that. So that's what I'm gonna have to put my big girl boots on and do wifely things like house hunting, and hopefully like he likes it, and FaceTime him and make sure he approves it, and he come and sign, and I decorate and make the house a home and things like that. So all those things are really, really exciting. And then putting pictures on the wall of us and art and things like that. All of those things are gonna be. It's gonna keep it really fresh. It's always gonna be something to talk about.
We'll see that, and see you just saying that. You're doing the wifey things, out house hunting, FaceTiming him, showing him, then going through the next steps. To get that home and get it furnished. See those are plans that people that are in committed relationships make.
Yes.
That's not just somebody y'all just hanging out and and haven't really developed something. Nobody's putting that much thought into something that maybe it's a couple months in, a few months in. If one's leaving to go somewhere else, they're thinking about, usually I'm going there because this is okay, but this isn't everything. But when you're doing that and those are your thoughts, that's you're doing this and you're not going to leave for another few months.
Yes, and I have to think about it, because the premise is like he's doing this for us, and he's doing this for our family, and so that he can better himself as a man, and as a man feel like he can provide the way he wants to for his family and his future, and for me, give me what he feels like I deserve. So this is why he's taking this risk. He's taking this challenge. He's taking those steps as a man and doing these things. So as a woman, I'm going to make sure that all of these things are not gone in vain. This hard work and all of these things that he's been putting in for me is not going in vain. And I'm making sure that we meet in there, and I'm doing all of these things to match up while he's putting all this work in. I'm going to put the work in too for us as well.
So see, I think everybody out there, that's really the key. You putting the work in, you're committed to put the work in. And the reason is because you love that other. You have that something, so you're willing to do everything you can. Sacrifice. Yes. But also commit to doing those things, those mature things in a relationship, to move the relationship forward, to see a future, even, because if you don't see a future together, what's the point?
Exactly. It's no point. It's no point at all. And I was talking to his mom, and I'm like, man, if he wasn't the great guy that he is, and I didn't feel like he deserved it, he didn't prove to me all two of these years that he was deserving on this the best me, because he gave me his best self. It would have been peace out.
Peace out. Yeah. You
like it would be no reason for me. If it was mediocre and just some, just basic relationship, I would not. It was like, okay, well, gotta go. Have fun. Have fun. Yeah. But like with him, I'm like, this my man.
Right.
This my husband. This is gonna be my husband. Like, none of that. Ain't nothing out here. That's my one. I'm gonna do what I need to do for him, like he do it for me.
Yeah, man.
And he all 2 years he's been putting in that work.
Right. Been putting in that work.
Nail and hammer. He's been putting in that work. So, he deserves it.
But my matured advice to you is continue doing what you're doing. Again, I know you, so I know your mentality. I know your spirit. I know your emotional development. So I see this going where it's going. But like I said, my advice is continue doing what you're already doing. Yes. But continue those dreams and those aspirations. You know, the house together, the life together. Him doing this to commit to you all in your future, and you doing what you're doing to commit to your future. Yes. Continue that, and that will really be part of the key to keep everything on track. Because you know what? Just because there's distance, except for seeing each other whenever you want to, and maybe waking up together because you all live together. Yes, that will change, but nothing else has to change.
Nothing else has to change. Yes.
Nothing else.
Nothing else has to change.
So and the end of my story with the distance is because I didn't have that individual with me every waking moment, and me being able to, because I know over all of these years that I've spent with the woman in my life, which is decades now. One of the things, and there's so many. But one of the things that she is so great for in my life, it's several. I'll give you the short list. She inspires me. She drives me. She motivates me. I know how much she loves me. I know how much she cares. But she cares to the point she knows me so well where she can see me going through stuff and she immediately just jumps in. She's like, okay, you struggling with something? Come on, let's do this together. But even though that young man, 22 years old, who didn't know the things that this man does now, he realized that all those things were that important, because then I think you start to realize things too when your away from people, especially those people who are meant to be in your life. You start seeing things. You start really thinking on things because you got time.
Yes, and you probably value the little things that they did that you didn't realize when they were right there.
You miss those things, and even if they're not things that you say can put your hands on, like I said, inspiration, motivation, determination, blah, blah, those things that they add to your life, how they strengthen you in your life, you start to notice them with that distance. So it's those are some good things that distance do. But like I said, the end story for me was I also not only realized that I missed that, even though I could see her on the weekends pretty much, but I missed that, and I said it started me thinking over that year. Okay, this is cool. Me traveling here, her traveling home, blah blah blah. Us hanging out, we making plans, maybe going on a little vacation together, blah blah blah. But it's not all the time.
Right.
It made me realize all of those things combined. Where was that going? Right. And I said, okay, where was it going for me? I said, after I guess a year, I'm 23, 24. I came to the pinnacle. I first had a conversation with God, and I said, God, what is this? And of course, unfortunately, God doesn't talk right back to us. But over a few days, he put it in me. He said, what does it really mean to you? What does she mean to you? What does all of this mean? And what it meant is I had to have this woman in my life. And that wasn't just for a year or two, but for my life. Yes. And they just came to a point, because we hadn't discussed it. She had impressed me. We were going on 4 years at that point. But that thing inside of me, God was like, so what have your thoughts gotten you? What have your feelings gotten you? What has your determination, what has this inspiration gotten you? And it's got me to say, I want her in my life for the rest of my life. I worked, saved money, I got that ring, and that's within a couple weeks. And well, I guess I saved some money. So I got that ring, and I said, I want this woman in my life. I'm gonna ask her to marry me. And she just happened to come home, one of those weekends. Yes. And I got things set up, had a romantic dinner. She didn't have a clue. She just figured, hey, I'm home and we're gonna spend this time together. I think we had dinner first. I think we got that done because I was probably too nervous to ask before. But I asked her to marry me, and that's history. And now, decades later, we've built this life. We've built a great life. Great family, kids, accomplishments, and still to this day, she still means the same thing to me, and probably much more because of that commitment. Yes. That sacrifice we did, both of us, to be apart, but to also be together and realize what we meant to each other. And I have no regrets. I don't think she does either, because it's been a great life, Nice. But I think that's what, like I said, when you're serious of heart and mind, you're straight in spirit, you believe, you have faith, but again, you look at where you are in life and who you are with in life, and you say, this is something, and this is what I'm willing to do. And then when you do, that payoff can come and will come at the end. At the end.
Nice. Well, this is
a real chat. And thank you for joining us. Bye. Peace.